We are in Holland, among the sand dunes and moors of the island of Texel. Willow herb and heather grow as far as the eye can see. We are looking for the short-eared owl, a bird which lives all round the northern world, in Britain as well as in Holland. It finds a home on these Dutch moors, just as it does on the heather of the Scottish hills, or in the northern part of North America, or Siberia. And here it is, soaring, gliding, sometimes almost hovering in its search for prey. It's the only member of the great order of owls that we know in Europe that regularly hunts in full daylight. Here, in Holland, the object of its tireless patrolling on silent wings is usually mousing. Always it watches with its forward-looking, sharp eyes. Sometimes it perches and watches, turning its head from side to side, as all owls do, until it spots a field vole, a short-tailed field mouse. The mouse sees it, but it's too late. Down flashes the short-eared owl and seizes its prey in its claws, transfers it to its beak. It hops a few feet aside and swallows it head first in a couple of gulps, fur, bones, and all. Owls nearly always swallow their prey whole. Once more on the hunt, gliding over the moor, looking for more voles in the grass and heather. And there's another. Down he goes. He's missed. And no, he hasn't. A pounce with his talons, his claws, a dart with his beak, a hop aside. Owls nearly always do this, and once more the field mouse goes down whole. A short-eared owl with young to feed may capture 30 or 40 voles in a day. Did you see that fall? That was a pellet. Owls cannot digest the fur and bones of the prey they eat, and every now and then bring them up in a little bundle which drops on the ground underneath their feeding place. We can examine these pellets and learn a lot about the food of owls. Not far away, among the sand dunes, is a colony of herring gulls. Herring gulls are as common along the Dutch coast as they are along the coast of Britain. They're very jealous of invaders of their nest territory. When the short-eared owl comes gliding along, they mob it, swooping and darting at it. The owl gets the worst of it, is driven to land and to scuttle under cover. Nearly every kind of bird will mob an owl that strays within range. Some distance from the herring gull colony, away on the moor, is the nest of the short-eared owl. It's just a scrape on the ground, under cover, hardly lined at all. And here the female has been sitting on her clutch of 6 eggs. Like the eggs of all owls, they're white and rather round. short-haired owls sometimes lay only 4 eggs, but when there are lots of voles to be had, they may occasionally lay as many as 16. The female owl sits tight under its cover of briar rose and willow herb and heather. 4 weeks ago, the female owl laid her first egg and began to sit on it. The other eggs were laid at 2-day intervals, and so they hatch at different times. The first one out of the egg hardly looks like an owl at all. The female owl sits on a mixture of eggs and young. Now 2 young have hatched. That white down is quite different from the brown plumage they grow in the 4 or 5 weeks before they can fly. You can see that the young are of different sizes because they hatch at different times. The male owl brings food to the female at the nest. He doesn't sit on the eggs or young ones himself, and she passes the food on to her owlets. When they're still small and blind, she cuts the vole up into strips before she feeds it to them. The male has brought a big water vole. Even a tiny owlet has the instinct to swallow its food whole, but that water vole is clearly too much for the little one. Now that's a better piece. That went in a flash. The males come again now, this time with a field vole, and the hen feeds it to one of the larger owlets. Yes, this time he has managed to swallow it whole. There are 3 young in the nest now. And now there are 4. Yes, it's a hot day. And while their mother has flown off, the biggest and oldest of them struggles a little way under cover to get out of the heat of the sun. When they're a fortnight old, the owlets can crawl quite a distance from the nest. That one is quite well grown now. Its brown plumage has developed, but there's still some white left on its face. That moustache makes it look quite fierce, and maybe that helps it to frighten away any animal enemies that may visit the nest. Overhead, a parent owl is hunting, and the young one sees it and squeals for food. But the parent hasn't got any and glides on. Feeding time will come later. When they're about 5 weeks old, the young short-haired owls take off on their first flight. Here you see it in slow motion. and one windy day in late summer will see the whole family on the wing together for the first time. This is the time when there are most young field voles on the moor, plenty of prey, easy for the young owls to catch. In Britain, the short-eared owls usually spend the winter not far from their breeding places, but these birds of Holland fly south in September or October to warm